Moving on to the player reviews, and unfortunately for Nottingham Forest, Olaino still injured, but Taiwo only played 19 minutes yesterday as they unfortunately lost 2-0 to Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Nottingham Forest hit the post 3 times, so it's just very unlucky for them. And this is one of those games I just have to say, experience told. Man City are perennial semi-finalists, finalists in the FA Cup, and that know-how just told in this game. But the good thing for Nottingham Forest is with 4 games to go, 5 in their case because they have to play a game on Thursday, they have all to play for. Their Champions League dream is still alive, and what an achievement it will be if Nottingham Forest can pull off, one of the upsets of the season and make the Champions League round. They're still on course to finish 3rd. They play Brentford at home on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. And if they win that game, they'll go back to 3rd place and they'll only be 4 points behind Arsenal, who are 2nd. After that, they play Crystal Palace next week, Monday, in the Monday Night Football game at Sellers Park. So watch out for that. I already spoke about the achievements of the Fulham boys beating Southampton over the weekend. Both Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi started the game as usual. Next up for them, they go to Villa Park on Saturday, 12:30 early kickoff in the game. Speaking of Southampton, Jaribo was an unused sub on the bench for that game, and Polonuachu missed the game due to an ankle injury. He's expected back in late May, so maybe he may play 1 or 2 more games for Southampton, but watch this space. And let's see if Jaribo plays in Southampton's next game when they face Leicester away on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. Speaking of Leicester, same thing I say every week. They lost 3-0 to Wolves. Matthias Cunha is a baller. Strand Larsen is a baller. Leicester are absolutely useless. They're already going down. Jamie Vardy has mentioned that he's leaving. If I'm for Ndidi, I'll be engaging my agents because I cannot play Championship again. So watch this space. But at least Ndidi played the match. That's it in terms of the Premier League reviews. Other games to be aware of in terms of the Premier League. We had midweek games with Man City beating Aston Villa 2-1 last week, courtesy of a last-minute goal by Nick. Was it Nick O'Reilly that scored a last-minute goal? They should have scored a last-minute goal last week, Tuesday. Arsenal drew Crystal Palace 2-2 on Wednesday. Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring one of the goals of the season. It's safe to say that my club, we're focusing on the Champions League, and tomorrow's the big one against PSG, so look out for that one. Also, Chelsea beat Everton 1-0. Nicholas Jackson with a pretty good goal. Newcastle beats Ipswich Town 3-0. Great goals by Isak, William Osula, and I've forgotten who scored the second goal. Brighton beat West Ham 3-2. They were 2-1 down after 84 minutes. They scored 2 goals towards the end of the game, including an absolutely incredible goal by Kolas Paleba, the Cameroonian midfielder. Go and watch that goal if you have not seen it. And then he had so much energy. You see the kind of backflip he did. It was just fantastic to see. Also, Man United drew 1-1 against Bournemouth yesterday. Rasmus Højlund scored a last-minute equalizer to spare United's blushes. And of course, we have to praise Liverpool, who have officially been crowned the Premier League champions for the 2nd time in their history, and their 20th league title overall, which has put them level on total league titles won with Manchester United 2020 apiece. They thrashed Tottenham Hotspur 5-1 yesterday at Anfield for what was one of the biggest parties in Anfield history, with them clinching the league title yet again, which is just their 2nd in 35 years. So congratulations to Liverpool. Well deserved. They've blown every single team out of the water this season and be the best team in the league by far. Of course, every player has played their part, but Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have to be called out, especially for their contributions to this win for Liverpool. And of course, Arne Slot for winning the Premier League at the first time of asking in the Prem. And this is, mind you, they only signed Federico Chiesa in the summer. So Arsenal, we can't even complain about signings. So anyway, shout out to Liverpool and well done for the win. If you play FPL, please note that there's a Premier League match this Friday. Man City play Wolves, so do your FPL before Friday. Aston Villa play Fulham on Saturday. Fixtures to be aware about. Leicester Southampton 3 p.m. kickoff. Everton play Ipswich Town at Goodison Park 3 p.m. kickoff as well. Arsenal play Brighton 5:30 p.m. kickoff. But honestly, our minds are going to be on PSG. So fingers crossed we can get a lead tomorrow when PSG come to the Emirates. On Sunday, we'll see Brighton play Newcastle at home in 2 p.m. kickoff. Brentford hosts Man United as well. And West Ham hosts Tottenham. All 2 p.m. kickoffs, and then Chelsea hosts Liverpool at Stamford Bridge 4:30 p.m. as they look to consolidate Champions League spot, while they have to give a guard of honor to Liverpool, which is just the right thing to do before the Monday Night Football between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. So as I said, league table, Liverpool are champions. It's 2 points after 34 games. They could still end the season with 94 points, so just a phenomenal achievement from the Merseyside team. Arsenal were second, were 67 points, too far behind. 13 draws for the season, just shameful. Newcastle at the moment are 5 points behind us with 62 points. Man City 61 points. Chelsea and Nottingham Forest are 5th and 6th with 60 points each. And then Aston Aston Villa have 57 points. So it's pretty much a 5-team shootout for 3 spots. As I said, if Nottingham Forest win on Thursday, they will go back to 3rd place, 1 point above Newcastle. So watch this spot. All the relegation teams have been confirmed, so nothing new to note in terms of the league table. Moving on to Serie A, we saw Demola Lookman playing 90 minutes as Atalanta drew 1-1 against Lecce on Sunday. They remain 3rd, but they need to consolidate their spot over the remaining 4 fixtures. Next up for them, they play Monza away on Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff. As of Isai Dele Bashiru, he was on the bench as they beat Genoa 2-0 Lazio on Wednesday. Lazio are currently playing Parma. That game will kick off literally in 22 minutes, and I know for a fact that he's on the bench. As for Samuel Chukwueze, he's been on the bench for all the games for AC Milan recently. They beat Inter Milan 3-0 surprisingly in the second leg of the Coppa Italia semi-final on Wednesday, so AC Milan will play Bologna in the final of the Coppa Italia. Also on the weekend, Milan beat Venezia 2-0. Once again, Samuel Chukwueze was an unused sub. Chukwueze is one of those players to monitor over the summer because while he's not playing games and you think he will be right for a move, we also know that the interim manager, Sergio Conceição, is likely to leave AC Milan over the summer, and we may see Massimo Allegri come back in for Milan. So watch this space. You never know. He may find favor again with the new manager. But I think the more concerning trend we've seen with Chukwueze is over the past 4 seasons, we haven't really seen much development in his game in terms of adding new features to his arsenal. Can you go with your left? Can you go with your right foot, not just your left foot? Can you improve your crossing ability? Can you show better decision making? Can you know the right time to dribble, the right time to take a shot, the right time to pass, the right time to bring your fullback into play? These are not things that we've seen improvements in Chukwueze's game since he won the Europa League with Villarreal 4 seasons ago. So quite concerning, but hey, that's the difference between good players and great players when it comes to the top echelon of European football. As for Maduka Okoye, played 90 minutes and made 2 saves for Udinese in their 2-0 loss to Torino on Wednesday. And earlier today, their game against Bologna just ended. He kept another clean sheet in a 0-0 draw against Bologna. He only had one save to make because Bologna only made 1 shot on target, but getting a clean sheet is always a positive. So next up for him, he plays Cagliari away on Saturday. And then shout out to Sarone Buehi. He played 62 minutes for Empoli as they lost 5-1 on aggregate and 2-1 on the day in the Coppa Italia semi-final against Bologna. However, he was not in the squad for Sunday's 2-1 loss to Fiorentina yesterday. Let's see if he'll be fit for their game against Lazio at home on Sunday. Empoli remain 19th, 2 points off safety with 4 games to go. So it's very crucial that they start getting some wins on the board unless they will go down to Serie B. In the Bundesliga, I've already spoken about Nathan Tella's exploits over the weekend as they beat Augsburg 2-0. Victor Boniface was on unused sub for this match. Unfortunately, next up for them, they play Freiburg away on Sunday. So let's see if Boniface will get some minutes under his belt in this match. Frank Rijeka, of course, played in that game for Augsburg, playing on 90 minutes as we've come to expect. But let's see if his fortunes will be better when they play Holstein Kiel at home on Sunday. As for Gift Urban, he was also on a new sub for Hoffenheim, while Kevin Akpoguma played 30 minutes but was taken off due to an injury as they lost 3 to Borussia Dortmund on Saturday. Next up for them, they play Mönchengladbach away on Saturday, and they should just about be safe from relegation, but it's quite alarming that Gift Urban is not getting minutes. There's something wrong with his professionalism for sure, because this is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not the third time something like this is happening to Gift Urban in the team he plays for. Moving on to La Liga, Christian Tuche is serving his ban. Getafe lost 1-0 to Real Madrid over the week before Real Madrid, of course, threw a temper tantrum as Barcelona rightfully beat them 3-2 in the Copa del Rey final on Saturday. He will also miss the game against Rayo Vallecano on Friday, so watch this space for when next Christian Tuche is back. Omar Sadiq was also suspended for Valencia's match against Espanyol on Tuesday, which ended in a 1-1 draw, but he should be back for their game against Las Palmas away on Saturday. That'll be a tough game because Las Palmas have been winning a few games recently as they also tried to stave off relegation and going back to the Spanish Segunda. As for Chidera Juke, he was on the bench for Sevilla in their 1-0 loss to Osasuna on Thursday. Sevilla needs to be very, very careful because they are 5 points above the relegation zone with only 5 games to go. And in their last 6 games, they've drawn 1 and lost 5 games. So Valencia and Getafe are 7 points above the relegation zone as well. So let's see what happens in Sevilla's next game when they play Leganés at home on Sunday. In League One, Moses Simon was in action as Nantes drew 1 against PSG on Tuesday. He then played 66 minutes as Nantes kept a clean sheet but drew 0-0 against Toulouse on Sunday. They're also pretty close to relegation, but hopefully they should be able to survive. They're currently 14th in the 18-team league. So let's see how Nantes get on when they play Angers at home on Sunday. Hafiz Ibrahim continues to get minutes for Reims, the Nigerian striker, 19-year-old. They drew 0-0 against Montpellier and he played 31 minutes. Let's see if he can get a bit more game time when they play Nice away on Friday. As for George Elinkena, he was not in the squad for Monaco in their 1-1 draw against Le Havre on Saturday. And let's see if he plays a part when they play Saint-Etienne away on Saturday. As for Chuba Akpom, I already spoke about his assist in their 2-0 win over Angers. Let's see if he gets some game time or even starts when they play Marseille at home on Sunday. That'll be a straight shootout between second and third as both teams look to consolidate their spot in the Champions League. Remember, League One only get 3 spots based on their coefficient, so it's very, very important that they at least try and win this game against Marseille. Hamza Jadira was not in the squad for Lens in their 4-0 loss to Auxerre. Let's see if he gets some minutes when they play Lyon away on Sunday. While Terry Murphy was an unused sub as Nice beat PSG 3-1 on Friday, which means that PSG's unbeaten record in League One has now gone. Nantes' 2-game record unbeaten, which took place in the 90s, will continue to remain in League One. But of course, PSG have bigger fish to fry playing Arsenal tomorrow, so look out for that one. As for Nice, their next game will be against Hafiz Ibrahim's Reims on Friday, so look out for that game.